Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Lack of Focus, episode 77, Turn Zero, Part 3, the end of the trilogy. I am your host, Ed Horn, and alongside me tonight, my partner in crime and gaming, one Mr. Chad Brown. Chad, how's it going, my friend?
Hey, everybody.
And of course, our producer extraordinaire, one Mr. Kris Sheriff. Chris, how's it going, my friend?
I'm a little bit shocked that you were brave enough to call this the end of the trilogy. Given that we're supposed to do at least 2, maybe 3 deployments left.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll Peter Jackson it and come up with a second trilogy that's like, not enough material for a full trilogy, but I'm going to stretch it out over 3-4 episodes.
That's how you do it with like young adult books now, isn't it? You take the third book and you cut it into 2 movies. So it's easy.
Exactly.
And then we'll release the Ed cut, and
that's 4.5 hours long. And like, why didn't they show this movie in the theaters? Yeah, we'll do that. I like that. I like that idea.
Restore the Dorsey cut. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I were here to get for that one. Anyway, so of course, in this episode, we're going to try potentially to close out this trilogy, or maybe not, from the sounds of things. To going through, of course, Turn Zero and placements of ships. We've heard from Mike. We've got an idea of what his list is. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late in the day to be able to learn his list. So we are still going to continue, though, with specifically on Ace's builds versus other. So we've got one build that we're going to do, at least try tonight, which is large base ships, and then maybe if we have enough time, we'll try something else after that. Trying to show not only the thought process of whenever you're placing your list on the board, when you're putting your obstacles down. It's all visual, so this is all on YouTube. If you're only listening to this in the audio version, I highly, highly recommend going over to Dice Hate Productions YouTube channel. You get to see our happy, shiny faces and the faces that Chad currently is making right now. And if you're in audio form, you didn't get that joke.
Okay, I'll do my best as the impartial observer for the first one to do some audio format descriptions, like listening to cricket on the radio.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping in mind, of course, like I said, because this is a very visual medium, when you're talking about ship placements and rock placements obstacle placements, I'm still into my old, like when it was just back in my day when it was just rocks. So I still throw that out there from time to time. What we're thinking when we're putting them, when we're moving them. We're going to play through a couple of turns, not going to play a full game, but we're going to show what the end result of having those up and putting those in place have done for the game. So we're just going to fly right into flight deck because there isn't a ton of news in the X-Wing world. So we'll talk about a whole bunch of other shit instead. So, Chad, what have you been doing lately?
Me? Well, let's see. Gaming-wise, been doing a lot of painting. Playing D&D with you guys. And that's pretty much been about it. Been kind of busy a lot of my other time. I'm looking for a vehicle, that kind of crap, Yeah, I've been doing several different things here. I got my D&D stuff that I paint. I'm actually working on. I bought the Falling Star D&D.
Ooh.
And I've been painting up a lot of different creatures and like characters and stuff that they sell with the paint your own. And I bought a bunch of like furniture and stuff to populate on the ship, so that I can actually get some like good photos of the stuff that I've actually like painted and all that, and like on a nice setting. I've been like working on that. Like I have been working on Blood Bowl. I got some 40K stuff on my workbench here. Got let's see, what else do I have on there? Yeah, just D&D stuff, 40K, Blood Bowl. About it right there.
That's good.
Yeah, keep him busy.
Have you been up to the store lately? Sounded like you were at least having some talks with some folks from up here recently.
I stop in every so often. Looking to get the tower that they have up there right now. Got it on layaway. It's three levels, and then there's the roof level for it.
Is that the massive
it
one?
Is. Yes.
The what?
Yeah.
It's another kind of piece of terrain. It's a wizard's tower. It's like 3 levels, and then there's a roof that's got these statues that go around it, and a glass top to it, and it's pretty cool looking. I wanted something else other than just the ship. so like I could actually have like, okay, so like this is a wizard's tower, and I can have like, some characters and creatures in it and stuff of that nature, just extra stuff.
You're going for like the diorama kind of thing.
Kinda, yeah, but I'm trying to use like a lot of the stuff like D&D wise or paint your own kind of stuff. I'm trying to populate it with
Yeah,
that.
no. Well, so like if you look at some of like the Golden Demon Winners kind of stuff, like some of the stuff that I remember seeing like in some of the early days were like the cool dioramas that people would do. Like they'd be like models off of bases kind of thing, and they've got you know three Ultramarines are shooting up a Carnifex, and there's like some Hormagaunts coming up over the hill kind of thing. I always thought that kind of stuff was really cool. Like you'd never be able to play with any of those models. It was like the whole purpose behind it was to make an art piece out of it. And I always wanted to do something like that. I don't know what I would do or how I would do it. It would probably involve Tyranids because I'd love to see like I wouldn't recreate something like that. But I always thought that kind of stuff was really badass. Like that would be like a cool showpiece. Like you never put it on the table. You never roll dice with it. It would just be something like really cool to apply your skills to something other than models that are going to get picked up and tossed into a box whenever they die, kind of thing.
Yeah. One of you had an old channel where we used to put up all of our 40K stuff, and your most popular video was when I went to Games Day.
Yeah, even the Dan Abnett one didn't get more. You actually had a conversation with Dan Abnett and didn't even like. That's not even the most popular one. It's you going through one of the last Games Days that they ever did.
Yeah,
we didn't know that at the time, but it was one of the last Games Days that Games Workshop did.
Yeah, I walked around the place, got pictures of all like the armies on parade, kind of like boards and all that. I went and checked out all the like the customization competition stuff, like those boards where they had like all the armies on them and everything. Like there were people who made boards that had like 3 layers to them, and it was like an underground kind of thing, and like it was Necrons, I think. It was just different stuff from like Forge World that they put into it, and Necron like warriors and stuff as like what they were like underground, and then above ground you saw just a little bit of like top of like a monolith sticking out, and it was supposed to be like this is them buried and stuff.
I can put a link if anyone wants to see. It's about 39 minutes long. There's 23,000 views on that video, Chad. That was Games Day 2013.
2013. Wow, that's seems like forever ago.
The next most popular video was when was it 2014 X-Wing Regionals? Paul Heaver versus Kris Lothar. Imagine that.
Yeah, like I did get inspired by seeing those back then. I kind of wanted to do this stuff. I actually had plans for a board because you could only get like, I want to say it's almost like a 2 foot by 2 foot board. I thought, hey, what would be really funny? Just break the rules and show up with like a 2 foot by 2 foot board that actually then extends 4 feet upward. Just have it where the entire board you're looking at it and you're looking down onto a street, or you've got one army down here and one army up here, and they're kind of coming into a battle.
Like a Necromunda kind of thing, yeah. Like a Hive City kind of thing.
Like the board's facing like this, like up and down. Your 4 feet goes like up into the air. So like as you're looking at it straight on, it looks like you're looking down onto the battle.
Oh, I see where you're going.
So like I would make that like 4 foot long battle, going on, but then I would flip it so it was like on a 90-degree angle and attach it to your 2 foot board.
Would you magnetize all of them so you can actually pull the models off, or would you like it's a diorama and they're there, they're stuck?
I mean, something like that. All the stuff I'd have to put on it, I thought about magnetizing it so that I can still reuse it, because that's a lot of stuff.
Yep. It's a lot of money going into a display idea like that. I agree.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing you would need to do, like, in order to, like, go into those things and actually win that competition, though. Like I said, there was one that was was the Fantasy, or Age of Sigmar, or whatever you want to call back then,
It's Age of Sigmar now. Fantasy's dead.
Now it is. It was Fantasy back then, though, I think.
I know.
It's coming back. It's fine.
And they actually had
We're
a
coming back.
massive.
You got Age of Sigmar third edition coming out. Is that
Yeah,
coming
but
back?
it's a different game. I'm not going to steal Chad's thunder, but the old
You're
world
right.
is returning.
Wow.
Well, now I
There,
want to hear that, but I'll hear that after Chad's done.
the board that they had, it was a massive tree. So like they made this like
Oh, I
big
do
tree,
remember
and
that.
it had like I think that was it's in the video where there was one where it was like a tree and something stuff like that, and it's like that's the kind of stuff I looked at, and I was like, that is kind of cool. And now you get something like that, and you can kind of show off like, hey, look, this is my skills with this is my skills with that. I've been working a lot with these D&D minis, and I'm liking some of the work that's coming out on those. So
Who makes those? Is that still WizKids that makes those?
there is a D&D, and then there's a Pathfinder. They got miniatures for both.
And WizKids makes both. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I've kind of think of what the
And those, for anyone that's interested, those are the ones that come like pre-primed. So like legitimately, you crack them out of the box and you can start painting them. Which doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal, unless you live in a northern area like we do, where sometimes priming in the winter is not even plausible.
right.
So having miniatures that are already pre-primed and you can just go is really kind of a gigantic advantage.
I was just looking because like I hang on to the cardboard back so I can get some ideas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures is what they have listed for D&D. There's these ones like Deep Cuts that has like the different packs of stuff here. I got Pathfinder Battles, and then this one is another Nolzur's. Okay, but yeah, I got some cool different things. I'm working on the Grim Reaper one right now.
Oh, that's cool.
So that'll be
You should
fun.
be posting that stuff in the Discord for the Dice 8 Discord. Or the Lack of Focus Discord.
Yeah, I guess I should.
I sat down, I was going through the they weren't ghosts. Which ones did you just post?
I just did.
Were they rights? What were those?
Oh yeah, it
those
was
things.
a bunch of stuff I've done recently. I don't know.
I
was
actually
complimenting
did a set of those myself.
Yeah.
Well, and I was complimenting you on your basing because I don't know what your basing material you're using, but that looks really cool. It doesn't work for like my particular setup, but it would have
Spirit
worked.
Host.
Spirit Host, thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Fun.
You can tell I'm more of a 40K guy.
Yep. I did up some Spirit Host myself. No, I could see about getting pictures and
you
wherever,
should post this in the Discord.
Everyone just throws it up on the phone, man.
Yeah. All right, I'll look into it.
Yeah. Maybe you can shame me into painting some of my stuff.
I've been trying that for decades, man.
Yeah. I have that small problem. Like I'm not going to buy another miniature until I finish painting all of X, Y, and Z, and I never follow that. I'm a bad.
No.
I've just brought up the web page that I posted a link to in Podcast Scrap because we're doing it in a visual format. So the 15th of November 2019, Old World, New Warhammer. Warhammer the Old World. Yeah, folks, for real. For really reals. In the deepest dungeons of Warhammer Studio, accounts of the wise have converted. Ancient forges have been relit and the work's already begun.
What?
Yeah.
They just announced Age of Sigmar 3rd edition.
Yeah. You know that we're allowed to have more than one game, yeah?
I'm aware of that, but
it's almost like this one might be called Warhammer the Old World, and the other one might be called Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Right. So here's what I'm concerned with. So let's pull this back into our FFG roots here. So you had this cool game that was, squadron based, not squadron based, but squad based in Star Wars. What was it? What was the Star Wars one, the miniatures game that was squadron based? Imperial Assault.
Yeah.
So you had Imperial Assault, and Imperial Assault was doing really, really, really good. And then they went more full wide scale with Legions, and Imperial Assault went away. So I don't know. Like maybe it's just me. So like I know that there is a squad base. There's 40k kill teams is a thing. But 40k kill teams always feels to me like yeah, that'd be kind of a fun pickup. It's it's a faster game, a little bit different rules. You can get a game done in 30 to 60 minutes as opposed to a full scale game of 40k. Okay, kind of cool. But it is like an ancillary bolt on to the full game, which I would consider 40k. I'm curious
Yeah,
if, and again,
you're comparing two completely different things here. You're
right, and
like
I will
40,
flat out say I don't know shit
so
about how
kill
Age of
team,
Sigmar works.
Necromunda, Blood Bowl. Like it's not like they only have 40k and Age of Sigma. They have like there's already if you want to just do fantasy properties, there's already Age of Sigma, Warcry, and Warhammer Underworlds. So just adding in Warhammer the Old World isn't that big of a deal.
Right, but so do you anticipate Warhammer: The Old World being a callback to
It's a square base rank and file battle game.
Square base, no less? So you can't even take your Age of Sigmar models into the Old World.
Well, you couldn't, could you? Because Age of Sigmar doesn't exist. Because it's not happened yet, because it's the old world. You can't have Stormcast Eternals or Nighthaunt.
Okay, all right.
They've
So
not been invented yet.
okay, I get what you're saying from a story fluff line. What I'm saying is that a skeleton from whatever armies there are for the undead could
I wish
translate
I'd not said
over.
anything there, Chad. Right.
Oh God, now you've got me. That's only my point though. So like when the fantasy realm kind of made the right decision and went over to round bases. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Fantasy players,
Wow.
I understand why they were on square.
I know it's a joke. It's just not funny.
I know. I know why they were in square bases because it was much easier to put them in rank and file on square bases. I totally get it. It makes sense to me. But whenever they moved over to a squadron base, they moved over to doing it on round bases. So now, so like if I've got I don't know Demonettes of Slaanesh, for example, I'll pick a model. In theory, Demonettes of Slaanesh also exist in the old world. But if I have Age of Sigmar Demonettes of Slaanesh, they cannot go onto movement trays on round bases.
Why not?
Can they? I don't know. I've never tried. Do you guys even still use movement trays at that juncture?
Right. So all my Nighthaunt are on movement trays. I use the Apocalypse trays.
Right, but you're using that's what I'm getting. So you're using the Apocalypse trays for those. You're not using like the square movement trays,
But,
like you remember the ones I'm talking about, like the 7th
if
edition
you've
pack.
got if you're running a 5 wide 25mm base unit, it's a shame there isn't a mathematical formula that you could use to make sure the footprint of your movement tray is representative of what it needs to be, and then it doesn't matter what your models are like on top of it, does it?
I agree. You can absolutely do that. I'm saying
So
like
if you're going to be really, really pedantic and facetious and complain about an army you don't even own, and you not
for a game I don't even play,
yeah,
I recognize the hypocrisy that I'm sitting on right now.
I mean, I have a fully painted goblin army on square bases in my cabinet, so I'm okay. I'm excited. I also have a round base army. It doesn't matter. I'm not worried about it. If I want to play,
Oh, and they upped the base size too, didn't they? Did it? They get the from 25 to 28mm kind of treatment. Like so, for example, is a clan rat still on a 25mm, or is it up to a 28 now?
yeah, it's still small for small things. There's just more granularity.
Granularity.
Granular.
Now I'm having trouble with the word. I know the word you're looking for.
It is just more granular.
Yes.
Words.
I mean, cool for them. Like, I know that there were a lot of people, and I do mean a lot of people that jumped ship and were unhappy about whenever they, end times came. They ended the Warhammer Fantasy line and they moved into Age of Sigmar. There were a lot of rank and file. That's the game I like to play in fantasy. That were upset by that. I'm actually surprised it's taken them this long to kind of reconsider this.
It was 2019 that article. Yeah, just 2 years late.
Okay, the article that you said. So when is this coming out?
I don't know, another year or so.
Yeah, so I mean, so in
but designing the game from the ground up again because the reason fantasy had to go away is because it was a relic of a bygone age. Unfortunately, it wasn't more elegant than a blaster.
Okay, so you're telling all right, so this article comes out a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
It's November, so like sorry, saying that they're so give them what 3-4 years for design space, play testing, all that fun stuff. If they, I mean, I
Probably
have
comes out
confidence.
next year or something, but yeah.
I have confidence that what they're going to do is going to be an amazing product. I'm just curious as to what it does with the Age of Sigmar group because how many of them are going to stay or how many of them are going to shift over? Like, what does it do to the other game?
You're thinking about it in the wrong way. Age of Sigmar doesn't compete with Warhammer Fantasy because they're different games.
All right. And maybe this is
Like,
just me. Maybe you're
you're
correct.
talking about like, man, what does buying golf clubs do to people who play soccer? I don't know. Like, some people play soccer and golf, but like pushing rank and file blocks of troops around is it like the people who play Age of Sigmar aren't all of the old Warhammer Fantasy players.
Agreed.
They start
Agreed.
transferred over to stuff like Kings of War, the like community led ninth page. Song of Ice and Fire is like a tray pushing game. But there's all of these other games which are tray pushing, regimental, like amble and flanking, all of that stuff.
Right, but GW is the gold standard. I like. So I guess my question is, and I will get off this topic. I swear to God, after I'm done making this getting this thought out of my head. Can you agree that there were a number of people who were fond enough of the Warhammer Fantasy IP that when they shifted over to Age of Sigmar, they followed the game because they were in love with the fantasy world that created?
There's people
And
who
they,
played Fantasy who also play Age of Sigmar, yeah. But you can't compare them as a game.
I'm
Right?
not comparing them again.
That's
I'm not. I'm not
fantasy went
just.
away.
yeah. Like Age of
I'm,
Sigmar wasn't 9th edition Fantasy. Warhammer Fantasy stopped at 8th edition. Age of Sigmar came out as 1st edition Age of Sigmar.
I'm aware. I, the, mm, I'm either A,
Like
not explaining myself, or you just
no,
completely flat out disagree with me, which is
like,
fine.
but you're trying to say, well, to me, your argument is the same as me arguing that playing Epic takes away from people playing 40k. Right, so Adeptus Titanicus exists
Okay, so
because
I don't
they
feel that.
serve completely. No, that's how I
I
feel about
don't feel.
your argument, though. Because well,
If
surely
you're going to make it a
enough
fair, if you're
enough
going to make it
people
a fair,
must be in love with the 40k universe that when Adeptus Titanicus came out, they wanted to play more Titans, so they bought into that.
I don't think that that's a fair comparison. I think
Like,
a the fair comparison would have been if Star Wars Legions existed before Imperial Assault, and in the after the second edition of hold on, I recognize I'm building a fictitious universe. Give me just a moment. Let me follow my thought process out.
God.
So I've got 2 editions of Star Wars Legions, and everyone likes Star Wars Legions, and everyone's happy about it. And at the end of Star Wars Legions, they order 66 it and go to Imperial Assault. They do Imperial Assault for 6 years. Some of the people that were playing Legion obviously continued on with the Fantasy Flight games, Star Wars miniatures games, and continued to went on to Legion. And then they announced Legion Third Edition or Imperial Assault Third Edition alongside it, Legion's Reimagined.
I
So
disagree that that's an equivalency. So the problem with the analogy there is that the reason that Imperial Assault Skirmish exists was to try and get around the legal issue of them not having a license to print the Star Wars board game. So Legion was never meant. Sorry, Imperial Assault was never
Imperial
meant
Assault
to
was never.
be a. Like the skirmish mode was literally there because it had to be to try to avoid legal issues, which didn't work, which is why Legion is going away. So Legion, but Imperial Assault is a complete game.
You're
Legion
bringing all these other branches and leaves off the
but
story. I'm just talking about the game and its scale. And I'm a fan of Star Wars. I want to play a Star Wars. I'm shooting guns on the battlefield game. I start off with Legion. Legion goes from first edition to second edition. I follow that through. the
Yeah,
legalese
okay.
and all the
So,
other stuff behind it.
but
So
what do
like,
you want to? But what are you playing then? Are you playing a game with fixed movement that's like individual model based, or are you playing a company level like battle game? Because they're two
you
different
started
games.
you started off at a company level. You were forced to go down to an
Yeah,
individual model
but that's
because
fine. Okay, and
and
then when they both come back out again, they don't compete with each other because they're different games.
maybe. I mean, you could be right. I guess my thought is I've always been like I'm on one train at a time kind of thing. Maybe it is possible that you'll have people that are willing to invest in both Age of Sigmar Third Edition and Old World.
Like that's undoubtedly going to be the case. But what I'm saying is like, do you not own Armada and X-wing?
I don't own Armada anymore, but I did.
Yeah,
Yes, I own
right.
both.
So that's an equivalency because they're both different games.
Agreed.
Age of Sigmar and whatever this like movement trade pushing game is will be different games. Like a mass battle game compared, yeah, it's just completely different. And it's
All
sorry,
right.
He sold
Sean.
all of his armada, even the ones I painted for him. He sold those ships too. Unbelievable.
No, I kept those.
I was told you sold them.
No, I kept those. The squads, I kept those.
Nobody would
When
buy
I
them.
what's that?
Nobody would buy those ones.
No, I wanted to keep them. You painted them. I have them here somewhere. They may be in the case. I'll have to go look.
I painted
Okay.
up. He left some ships at my place when he was living in Ohio. He purposely bought them here because he couldn't find them back in Ohio, and then he left them here. By the time he got them back home, he had found out that certain ships had already been painted.
Pink. You painted them pink.
Pink and purple.
Didn't you? And purple. Pink and purple. Yep. Anyway, that was a really, really off-topic tangent.
Yeah.
Yep. I should know better.
Kris, what have you been doing lately? Aside from busting my balls at Warhammer Old World.
No, I've been busting your balls about fucking Neptune's Bride.
Yeah, I screwed the pooch on that game. Again, I don't know if anyone's I don't know if anyone picked up on the if you're listening to the D&D story 8 weeks from now, joke.
Oh, they'll take longer than that for them to get caught up. It's fine.
I was going to say more than 8 weeks, man.
Long story short, we got to the end of a game. They decided to call a game. It had reached the point where
But
two players were gonna.
I'd intervened in such a manner that I'd warped the game from being a enjoyable experience for everyone into
fair
it being
competition.
Yeah. So that's why we all called it.
So everybody called it except me and one other player, and I decided that I was going to use that game to practice.
So
Practice some end game stuff, practice clapbacks, see what, like if I throw 1,000 ships at that, how long do they last? That kind of stuff. But because the game was a tick every 30 minutes as opposed to every hour, I had to keep checking in on it more and more often. And when they started the other game,
the real game, I like to call it.
The real game, I didn't focus nearly as much on it. This is my fault. I accept responsibility for this. And by the time I started paying attention to that game, I was already way out of it. So Kris has been kind enough to put me in, as we affectionately called it, the playpen, where I have 3 little worlds that I'm allowed to sit in. I can't leave because he's so much stronger than it. If I even tried, I'd die.
That's not true. You could go out through light blue.
Well, that was kind of my plan until he just launched into the playground.
He's going to have to defend from me and Greg and Patrick all attacking now, because the Axis of Evil has started its war efforts now after people didn't pay their taxes.
If it makes you feel any better, legitimately, that's what my secret plan was. My secret plan was that he would ignore me for days and days and days and days because there's nothing I can do. You guys would go start wiping him out, and I would just be able to go in and sneak in and actually start building something up. I have no delusions or grandeur that I'm going to do anything in this game at all.
I was just going to let you go around the edge of a map and see how far you could get. That's my plan.
I think that's a great plan. I just want to do the little donut around the galaxy.
Yeah, I plan on trying to keep you alive for as long as I can as punishment for you
Mhm. And I
screwing
will
me
take.
over and
How
forcing
did
my
I?
hand.
How I didn't screw you
So
over. I just didn't rip you.
I'd told you a route to the center and promised to hold some worlds for you.
Yeah,
And
all
then
right. This is
people were
true.
creeping in and getting closer and closer to this pocket of worlds that I was going to split with Ed. And then I'd sent him a message saying, "Look, I don't really want to focus on these worlds. Do you want to trade some worlds? So I get one or two worlds from like the center of our border, and you get all four of these, and you can deal with the center stuff." And then just no messages back, nothing. And they kept getting closer and closer. So it's like, well, I'm going to have to actually plant my flag on them so that they don't just take them, which put me in the lead for planets. And then because I was in the lead for planets, if you go AFK, the computer automatically attacks me. So that's why I had to attack you because I didn't know it was you.
Yep.
And if you go AFK, I have no agency anymore. I can't negotiate with the computer. It just attacks me because I'm the leader on planets.
He is correct in every word that he's saying. So this is my fault. I admit that this is my fault. I will never, ever, 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 ever stay in a game that we've all collectively decided to call just for practice modes, no matter how much fun it could be, because I did end up winning that game. Not that it matters because it was against baby seals. I totally get that. That all having been said, I'm taking my punishment with a smile and enjoying it. And I will be more than prepared for the next game.
Good.
Your punishment of letting Kris take care of you. Got it.
No. So the punishment is I can't go.
There's no way
AFK.
that Ed can go AFK and with it down. So Ed
Like,
knows that even if he only has one planet
yep,
with no production, that he has to sit in this game and keep playing it and answer messages when people send them and
yep,
play the game because it's part of our engagement with the listeners.
yep.
He can't go AFK, can he, Chad? So I've got him trapped in a little pocket that he can never leave, where he gets to have no fun.
Yeah, so Kris is having way too much fun punishing me on this one, to say the least. And again,
I'm doing my
not that I
best
didn't
to keep.
deserve it.
I'm doing my best to keep him alive as punishment because
Yeah.
it will be like if he's
Surprised
dead.
you're letting him keep three systems or whatever
No,
planets.
Three's enough, but he gets to feel like he can do stuff. He gets to move ships from these two planets to this one and build up his little fleet. He's got like Chad, look at it. He's got 350 ships now.
So, just for the record, when I hit 300 ships, I had this vision in my head of like the Spartans, the movie 300. At that same moment, Kris sends out a mass email to everyone demanding taxes. So of course
I demanded taxes 3 days ago. I gave people 3 days to pay. The first day, people paid, and then people stopped. And I'm like, oh man, how am I supposed to live this extravagant lifestyle if the peasants don't pay up?
So of course I did my best Leonidas impression of, "You want taxes? Come and get them," knowing full well that if he wanted to, he could just flick his finger and I'm dead.
I think you'll find you will pay me my taxes like everybody else.
I don't have any income.
I
that
know.
would...
That's why the taxes you owe are small because it's based on number of ships. You don't have any, so you don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Well, he just said he had 300.
Yeah, so he would owe me $30.
Yeah, in comparison to what's the ship count here on some of these?
I
So
have
for example,
4,850.
Huh.
the person who is attacking me has 1,794.
Yeah.
So he's sending 500 of those ships. That he's genuinely weakening himself, trying to take this one world. Now the upside is that Kris has been feeding me weapons. So his initial attack, his first ship that's going to come in.
Do you want to know what the
right
real plan was? Because I'm not actually a dick. So I formed the triad axis of evil between Patrick and Greg and myself, and we've got this little power block. But there's enough worlds that someone else could still win if we did nothing. But I also thought, well, if I give Ed weapons to match us, and we're playing with alliances on, so if every other player forms an alliance together and buys weapons off each other, so they're always the equivalent of us, and then moves their ships onto a border, they can actually wipe us out if they all work together. But they didn't.
If
I gave them 5 days. We formed the alliance. I didn't do anything. Then I formed a government and demanded taxes. Got one round of payments and didn't do anything. And I'm like, well, we're all fighting amongst themselves now up in the northwest. So if we're gonna just keep weakening each other, why wouldn't I? So I'm just gonna take a few planets, crush a few fleets, and then I'll ask for money again. Some reparations on the costs of my dead ships, so that I can go back to my little castle and have a gala, and like have some cake and some extravagant food. That's what all the tax money goes on, Chad. It doesn't. In the last game when I was playing the socialists, I tried to tax people to give it to a pillar. Not this time. This time I just keep it, spend it on what I want.
it's all about me.
Yeah. I am role playing somewhere in between Mussolini and Louis XVI. So, it'd be fine. I'm enjoying it.
Of course he is. So anyway, long story short, so Chris's response to this person attacking into my one good world is that he sent more than enough ships to wipe out everything he has so that I can reclaim that world and start rebuilding it back up.
Yeah.
I was waiting until I hit 500 and then I was going to blind jump into his territory.
I was going to send you scanning, and that's the only reason I spent time researching scanning was so you'd be able to see what was on that world.
Yeah, because that's the problem is it's so far away that it's a blind scan.
Yeah.
It's a blind jump for me.
So you'll be able to see it tomorrow because I'll send you scanning and you'll be able to see it now.
Well,
and weapons 8.
Oh my god, that's the other thing. Like he's only at weapons 4, so when
he's
he's
weapons
attacking
5
me,
now, I think.
He's weapons 5. So even at that, when he's attacking me, I'm weapon 7 +1 for defending. He's doing it at a 3 weapons deficit.
Yeah. I don't think he realized you had weapon 7 when he launched the first fleet and left people on his home world, on his base world. But whatever.
It'll be funny.
That's what I've been doing. I started painting. Well, I undercoated a bunch of stuff. I've not actually done any painting. I've been trying to tidy up the table so I can do some recording, and that's about it. That's been my life. I've been a better parent this week, though.
That's good.
I felt I was falling off a little bit, so I've tried to be better. I ordered a bunch of like STEM toys and things like that, and like mind puzzle kind of things we can do together. I'm going to try and do some structured learning time to get her ready for like school and all of that stuff. Actually try. I probably should. But yeah, that's the benefits of me getting to stay home. I should do more than convince her that watching My Little Pony is, adequate education.
The hell you say?
How's your Vassal update going, Jed? Have we filled enough time?
Oh shit! I haven't even looked recently.
Cool. Well, while you're doing that, I'll do my brief gaming one. We played D&D. That was nice. I feel like we hadn't done D&D in.
We missed 2 sessions because I couldn't do one, and then Alan and Sean missed. And
that's what it was. That's what it was. So we got to do that, which was fun. It was kind of nice to get back to everyone being together, which was fun because I genuinely do look forward to that every Monday night. So that was fun. On a side, as everyone kind of knows, like at some point in time, I am going to drag these guys, hopefully willingly, into hopefully even a one-off of the Alien RPG. One of the things I like about a game from a smaller publisher like Free League Games is that their releases, like the game doesn't bloat like, I don't know, like a D&D used to, like especially like 4th edition, 3.5 edition, where there were new source books like every month. And then every month, like, I mean, like, legitimately, it starts to become a pain on the wallet. Like, oh, this new book came out. This another new book came out. Another new book came out. They're only doing 2 books a year, so they were hoping to have the first campaign book because the game prior to this had been based on one shots. Like the whole idea was like you would do like a movie one. It's you start off with pre-generated characters. A whole bunch of them are going to die by the end of it. Can some person end up quote unquote winning the game and being the 1 or 2 people that survive at the end? The end. The session's over. It doesn't carry over onto another session. It's just a very brief one shot. Campaign rules are in the core rulebook for the Alien RPG, but they're not nearly as fleshed out. So it's one of those things that you can tell, like, well, they give you some ideas of what it would be like to run a campaign, but they had intentions of running full campaign books. And the first campaign book they did, arguably the best idea that they had, was for Colonial Marine. Like the guys from Aliens, just not those guys. Like there's a whole bunch of Colonial Marines throughout the galaxy in the Alien universe. So they were hoping to have it released for Alien Day, which they didn't quite make that deadline because it's a almost 400-page source book, but they did release that over the course of this past week. So I got my PDF copy because I'm a shill for the Alien RPG. It's absolutely an amazing game. So I bought it directly from Free League Publishing. So one of the benefits of doing that is you get the PDFs the minute that they're available, and then like the actual physical copy of the books aren't even going to come out until the end of June. So I have been spending an awful lot of time reading over the campaign rules for Colonial Marines, which makes me want to run a Colonial Marine campaign, but I know that that would supersede what we're doing with D&D, and I don't think we're quite there because I don't think we're anywhere near the end of Chris's campaign for Curse of Strahd, and I don't know that the level of interest is there. I think I could drag the guys in for like a one shot that ran for like 3 or 4 sessions, and that would kind of be it. I don't know that I could pull everyone in for a full blown campaign, but at some point in time, I do want to be responsible for running a full campaign of Alien RPG at some point in time in the future. So it's the game isn't very mechanics heavy in any way, shape, or form. It's a bunch of D6s. If you roll a 6, it's a success. And sometimes on a 1 on your stress dice, that's a failure and causes. It's not mechanics heavy. It's very role playing heavy. It's very like thematic. Like if it sounds like it's a cool idea, you should do it, kind of thing. And it doesn't put the rules in the way of cool. It's got the rule of cool. It doesn't put the rules in front of doing something cool, which I think is a really cool feature to this game. So, and they're fleshing out a lot of the galaxy. Like if you watch the Alien movies, maybe you've read a comic book or two or some of the Dark Horse stuff from way back when. There's a lot to that universe that isn't the xenomorphs. There's corporations, there's all these other nations, there's all these other infighting between this corporation trying to steal tech from that one, or this nation's trying to fight with this one. Like the aliens themselves are I don't know what's their decoration. Like you can put them into a campaign, but they shouldn't be the focus of a campaign. They should just be a part of this much
That's how
larger
you tell
universe.
your players that you're sick of them.
What's that?
We're done with this campaign. What do you mean? Well, I think
Yeah,
you'll find.
Yeah, we're done. Here's some aliens.
yeah, exactly. That's how I agree 100%. That is how you would end a campaign, is that they shouldn't, yeah, because you don't want them to you don't want them to be mundane. I know there's always going to be that that eternal argument of which movie was better, James Cameron's Aliens or Ridley Scott's Alien. And I've always stood on the side of I thought that the Alien movie was a better movie. And my reasons for that was Alien was a sci-fi horror movie, and the alien was this unstoppable killing machine. And it very much like in the game of Alien Isolation, like there's no way to kill it, there's no way to really get rid of it, you just need to be able to try to survive. And I always thought that was kind of a cool, like the dread kind of thing. When you get to Aliens is it's a typical alien 80s action film with aliens, this unstoppable killing machine that was in the Ridley Scott film. Now all of a sudden you're blowing away 4 or 5 or 6 of them in one scene. I like it. It demystified the aliens for me by watching. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. It's more like a 1A, 1B as far as those 2 films are concerned on my top like 20 favorite movies of all times. But if I had to pick one, I would pick Alien over Aliens for that reason. Anyway, so
So
yes,
I'm considering selling off almost a bunch of my Protoss Alien versus Predator miniatures, and
Ooh.
I've got all of them. I've got the Cheyenne dropship, everything.
I know. Do not let those go without speaking to me first.
I've had them for nearly 2 years, and they're still in boxes. So I'm like, I need money more than I need this stuff. But
Do not let those go anywhere without speaking to me first.
I'll chat to you. And there's also obviously the plastic miniatures now from Gale Force 9 from Aliens.
Yeah, and the Gale Force 9 ones, I've seen those. So I legit, all right. I had a birthday in this past 2 weeks.
I know, I can't believe Facebook let me down. It told me when mine and Bob's birthday was.
Yeah, because you two share a birthday.
Hmm.
So my point, it's tradition at work whenever it's your birthday, the guys get together, they get you something, and I got a $50 Amazon gift card. And I'm like, ooh, I've been eyeballing that, another Glorious Day in the Core Gale Force 9 game for multiple reasons, because it looks kind of cool, but there's 16 alien models in there. It's a sprue of 4 copied 4 times. So you get 16 of those. But everything that I read about those miniatures from the Gale Force 9 ones, they're good. They're okay. They're a little bit smaller than 28mm scale. They're more like 25mm scale, but apparently the tails are like really a pain in the ass to put on. But I'm an experienced modeler. I felt that it was a challenge that I'd be up to being able to put because that's the thing. If you look at all the 1-star reviews, for people that reviewed that Gale Force 9 game, it's like, well, I bought a board game. I'm not a modeler, or I didn't want to put models together. Those are the people that gave the game the 1-star review. All the people who were real, like, maybe using the term real, it's like the no true Scotsman argument. Those people who are into modeling games that are used to games like 40K or Age of Sigmar or Warhammer Old World, who are used to being able to, I need to put these models together and paint them before I can actually play with them. Like, I'm used to that. I can get through that. I will be fine. So maybe the complaints that people are making about those aliens weren't so good, but everything I heard about those Protoss models everything was fantastic. But they're out of print now. You can't find them. Not with well, you can find the Russian knockoff sculpts on eBay if you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I rambled on there about the Alien RPG by way too much time. So
That's
my
fine.
apologies. That's it. That's all I got.
We promise
So
at some point in time we'll talk X-Wing.
We're
it
there
would
now, ish.
yeah, it wouldn't be a lack of focus if we didn't like not talk about X-Wing for an hour. All right, so let's move into the main topic on this one. We're going to be talking, of course, we're going to be moving over. Hopefully, Kris is doing the stage transition as I
I
speak.
can look done. See, I didn't even check if it was going to work. I just did it because I had faith.
Look at that. So we're going to go ahead and move over to our turn 0, and we're going to be talking specifically about an Aces build against anything else. Now, I specifically chose this list. This is not a competitive list in any way, stretch of the imagination. I didn't try to make this list competitive by any stretch of the imagination. I wanted to put large base ships on the board. And I'm an Imperial player, so my large base ship choices are a little bit limited, but I do have, the Palp Shuttle, which as long as I've got the Palp Shuttle, I can go from there. So I wanted to emphasize specifically on the differences on what putting a large base ship on the board means whenever you're doing your setups in the beginning. Chad, on the other hand, is going to be playing the role of the Aces player today. So I'll go over my list for those who are in the audio form. If you're watching this in video, it should be, I don't know if I'm the left side or the right
So
side.
before we do this, are you good, Chad? Do you need more time?
I think it updated and everything.
Okay, so
let's find out for sure.
Just gonna see about uploading my list.
Yeah, so if you click Become Player and Become Player 1, there should be a damage deck thing ready. Then you click the big yellow number 1, spawn the squad from I can't spawn it for other players, so but spawn from XWS and then you can copy it from the other one or whatever. I think you can post the squad link as well. Yeah, you can do it from URL if you use Yasby or the official squad builder to make your list. But yeah, okay. So while he's doing that, Ed, you should be able to go over your list then.
Oh, okay. If you want, I don't know if you want me
No,
to
I
wait
was
or.
I was going to do filler with Mike's list and cover that now if you wanted to. If you want to do that first, so Chad's not in a rush. No.
Yeah, no. So I can cover over the list that I've decided to bring today. Again, I wanted to emphasize large base ships, and I thought, I'm going to toss a bunch of ordnance in there because ordnance are fun and it makes me laugh. So I decided to go with one Rear Admiral Cherno. He is going to be sporting himself proton torpedoes and some seismic charges. I thought it was funny because he does have the bow tie arc, which means that he can shoot from the left and the right or port and starboard. He has proton torpedoes that he can fire out of the front, and just in case if anyone's behind, I'll drop some seismic charges out of the back. I thought the idea of having the option to fire at all four arcs in different ways would be interesting. Not to mention the fact that his ability, if he, I can reinforce in direction, I can actually change some of that stuff to crits. That could be fun. It really could. In addition, we've got the good old OGP, the Omicron Group pilot sorting one Mr. Emperor Palpatine, just to add in that extra fun. And then, last but not least, I decided to go with a new squadron pilot. I decided to give him the aerial assault or arsenal loadout, I apologize, and just load it down with missiles and torpedoes. So he's got ion torpedoes because I think there were 4 points. I had points to spend, and why the heck not? Gave him some advanced proton torpedoes in case I can squeeze him in and get him close. We've got some homing missiles, we've got cluster mines, and tossed an advanced slam as well. So again, not a competitive list in any way, shape, or form. This is more just of a fun list. Like I want to see what happens when this gets put on the table kind of list.
Yeah. So I'm going to point out that you do have the highest initiative pilot in the game as well.
Ooh, real Admiral Cherno doing his
Yeah.
thing.
Then we've got Chad's list, which is a initiative 4 all across the board, I think.
Yep.
It's pretty good. I like it.
Got Major Vermeil and the TIE Reaper with outmaneuver, Director Kennick with Vader and shield upgrade. I got 2 strikers, one of them being Pure Sabak with outmaneuver, Fifth Brother, shield upgrade, and the other one is Countdown with outmaneuver and hull upgrade.
Yep. So beefy striker, punchy striker, annoying Reaper with Vader and Krennic.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun.
You'll need to put rocks in as well, I think, Chad. Whichever one. So, do you want to go over what you chose for obstacles, Ed, and why?
Sure. So we had this conversation in the past. Like, unless you have a better reason for it, you was take it 4 small rocks or 3 small rocks was the old Paul Heaver in lineage. I went with 3 debris fields because I've got large ships. I would prefer that if I land on them, I have a minimal amount of damage that I can take from those. But I do also like the idea if I'm playing against a potential aces list that aces don't like to be stressed, and I did like the idea of adding that as a potential. So those were the thought process I had for picking those. So I picked the 2 largest debris fields that I could find, and then I grabbed one of the mid-tier ones as well.
The X-wing debris, isn't it? The other one.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Where are those in here?
Do you know which ones you want?
I just want the 3 biggest rocks.
Yep. So it is. I'll just drag them in for you. But there's asteroids. That one. That one. Well, big. Is there a bigger one than that? That was wrong. Control B. Those are the biggest ones, Chad.
Cool.
Yeah, and you covered your reasons for big rocks the other week as well in part 1, I believe, because you think you think Ed's a shitter and is going to land on him.
Yeah, I am usually in a real life tabletop situation game. I can look at the board and very easily visualize where my ships are going to be and everything, and I can avoid rocks very easily. So
Okay.
I choose bigger ones to hopefully, maybe my opponent's not as good looking at the board as I am, and hopefully they'll hit them.
Yeah.
And considering I'm running, and you did not know this before whenever we made the list, but considering I am running large base ships, that will become problematic for me.
Yes.
Okay. So let's roll for initiative because you are both in with a 2 point bid.
I should have held off on the ion torpedoes. And so, Chad, I will. You are the guy. I will let you roll. You do you want let you roll, and you can pick hits or misses.
Oh, I'll pick hits. Why not? Let's see here. Woo!
Your choice.
Uh, how many fours do you have?
I have a 1, a 2, and a 5.
1, a 2, and a 5. Oh.
Yeah.
I'll take it. What the hell?
Yeah, legitimately, this is one of those weirds. You have all fours, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
This is one of those scenarios that legitimately doesn't matter except for who places first.
So
Who
what
places first?
I'm going to jump in on the inevitable thing of can you have an all four list which would be considered aces? Reason I'm on board with Chad's choice, and I do believe that this would be an ace list, is because they rely on their positioning to survive. They have multiple repositioning options and are really slippery, and OPS almost all generics in the game. So, like, if
Yep.
you're not going to run into many swarms that are initiative 4. So there we go. I'm on board.
All right. And where are Ed's obstacles?
The
I put them at
ones
the top.
should be. Can you see those?
I just see the 3 that you put on the map for me.
Really?
If I move them all into your side, can you see them now?
Do you see my ships on the board at all?
No,
Okay. Go.
I'm just seeing the 3 obstacles Kris put on for me.
Did you do the update for the assets?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
just
what it
did a
was
bunch
working.
of updates.
Reload your squad, Ed,
Reloaded into.
into Vassal.
Oh, okay.
So I'll delete
So
the stuff off the board, and then you'll have to reload it. But
sure.
I'll put the debris on so they can get started anyway. So the debris was
Close it out. Maybe open it back up again.
one.
No, that's not. It's not. It's not a you thing. I don't think.
Dude, I'm seeing the stuff when Kris puts it on.
I'm just gonna control D, so I don't double up and get the wrong things.
I think it was those ones. So those should be what you've got to choose from, Chad.
Okay. Let's move those up here for right this second. I'll put that one there.
Okay. So I'm gonna start moving ships out. Do you see my ships?
Yes, I see them now.
Okay.
Weird.
Good. So I'm going to go and get another drink while you guys deploy, and then I'm going to come back and talk about where all the rocks are. Because one thing I can do whilst I'm not here, whilst I'm not involved, is talk about the general shapes you get when you deploy rocks. So I'm going to put money on you fall into one of, I think it's 3 archetypes when you finish deployment.
Sure. All right. So Chad, is that rock placed for you? You're happy there?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I've got to move some tokens out here real quick. So, from the audio perspective, I'll try to cover Chris's job on this one as well. Chad has decided to put a big fat rock right in the middle, a little
Slightly
off,
up.
slightly to the more northern side of the board. I want big fat rocks as far away from me as possible. So, I am going to put that in the lower left hand corner, somewhere about there. and I am going to say set. My thought process, of course, is once the corners are kind of filled up, the debris field will end up in the middle, which is more akin to what I need it to do.
There we go.
So he has taken one of my debris fields and he has put it mid-range, midfield, lower to left, kind of offset. I am going to take the final rock and I am going to put it in the northernmost corner closest to myself. Now, I recognize that I just got done saying I want rocks away from me. However, with this particular one, he's got a big fat rock in the middle. And then if I take the smaller of his 3 fat rocks, I can blow past those on turn 1 and then not have to worry about it. So my thought process now is that I've got 1 rock behind me and then 1 way off in the distance. So legitimately, is the middle of the field has 1 rock, as far as I'm concerned.
There we go.
And I am going to take the small X-Wing debris cloud. What is it? Control R for range? Is it Alt R? What? No. Alt R brought my graphics card recording the game. I don't want to do that. What is that? Rangefinder, Control L. That's what I'm looking for. So I want to try to dump this. And I don't want to put too big of a hole. There we go. I'm going to put that in the upper left-hand corner. All right, so we now have our rock placements set up.
Yep. So you've done the 2 triangles. So you have a triangle of rocks on the top part of the board, triangle of rocks on the bottom part of the board, which generally gives you at least 2 channels through them. So in this instance, there's a channel straight through the center. And then you've got a channel which runs, because you've got almost a line from bottom left to top right. So you've got like a channel on either side of that as well.
Exposing some of my thought process as well. So what I had mentioned is the reason, and you probably had your headphones and you probably heard me. One of his rocks I intentionally put on my side of the board after having the conversation we had whenever you and I played last week. I can blow past that rock, and now I have a channel that I can go north to south or south to north that I can just fly right
My
through.
feedback would have been the first rock you place in the bottom, like 2 and 2 of his corner. I would have put 2 and 2 of your corner as well.
Yeah, it's probably right, because I could have blown past both of them at the same time. Yeah, that's a good argument. All right, so that means my 1 and 2 are going to be the first on the board. So we are going to put good old Emperor Pappy is going to go there. And I think I'm going to have my arsenal come in, the new squadron, over here.
So
Chad, your entire list. Now, my thought process here, let me make sure he's where I want him to
let
be.
Chad deploy first, and then we'll do tuning, and then we'll talk about deployment after.
Okay.
So I was looking here. Krennic has the optimized prototype, and I'm not seeing anything in this list here, or any tokens, or anything that indicate which ship I'm giving that to.
Oh, so you get to pick now when you deploy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am putting that on countdown.
Okay, so what you're doing now is you drag the token and drop it in your countdown.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see where that token was located. Huh? All right, so let's see. Guess I could move these guys real quick so that I can figure this out.
Hopefully, you guys can't hear me eating these Smarties. Chocolate.
So you just have the decimator placed, right, Ed?
Correct. The decimator is not on the board yet.
There. There. That looks good.
Yep.
All right.
So, Chris, point rules questions, as I'm aware. With the reinforced token,
Yep.
normally I would just spin this thing on the board to decide which side was getting reinforced.
If you
which is-
right click it, you can flip it over. Should be able to
Right.
flip the token.
Right, but it flips. Oh, okay, to the front or rear. Okay, so
Yeah.
I see what it's. Okay, that works.
But generally, I place it on either in front or behind the ship.
Okay, in case I make that mistake,
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm announcing ahead of time. If I put it in front, it's because I'm reinforcing the front. If I'm putting it in the rear, I'm reinforcing the rear. I want to make sure that we're on the same page.
But we're playing 3 rounds. If a game's decided in
I
3
know,
rounds
but
on where you put your reinforced token.
I know. I just want to make sure. So I am going
Is it
to.
actually possible for Chad to kill a decimator in 3 rounds?
Potentially.
I don't think it is with the reinforce. Like 5 from Savak, 3, maybe 4 from Countdown if you can get range 1 to like. Well, you could do it, I suppose, with crits pretty easily with crits if we're going to introduce that as an option, you know.
So I am setting the bow tie to the starboard and port sides, or starboard and port, and putting him on the far outside north.
This is going to be a really, really interesting first 3 rounds, and we may get 1 turn of engagement, will be my prediction. So, questions I have for the 2 of you. Why did you place, Ed, why did you place the Omicron group pilot up there and not in the center?
So
So he's on the right flank on the inside of the channel, because obviously you can fit 2 large base ships up that channel, so you're always going to be able to fit both 2 ships in there if you need to.
Well, I'm going to be tipping my hand a little bit, but my intention is to hard turn left on the Omicron group on turn 1 to basically butt it up against that rock, and it's going to slide down the channels behind the rocks and then turn in as the decimator is going to come down the other channel. So as you have those 2 channels there, well, one's on the rock on the left, and then you have those 2 rocks that are kind of middle. My flight plan was to have those 2 come down the side like that.
Okay.
With the new squadron coming in, slow rolling in, so that it can help back up the Omicron group pilot.
The reason why I bring it up is obviously in your list, the Omicron group pilot is the worst dial out of the 3 of them. And obviously Palpatine has unlimited range, but you want to leverage a coordinate from him.
Oh yeah.
So because he's going to go down first, I would have been more tempted to swap him down in the center with this setup, because you've got, like I say, that channel in the middle. You've got the channel where you can go in and to the right, or you can go in and to the left, or you can do the hard turns early as well. Would have been why I would have been more tempted, because you don't see his deployment. And again, like, this is more building a standard deployment than against Chad's specific list, because obviously if you're playing against a Rebel Joust list, which comes in at Initiative 2, and you plonk him down there, and they plonk down after you, yeah, you get to do your hard turn and chase kind of thing, but it just gets a little bit dicey at that point. But yeah. And then
Chad, I assume you got questions for him.
I would, for Chad, I'm going to do it the other way. I'm going to try and put a theory forwards and see if I'm right or not. because Chad deployed near enough where I would have deployed them anyway, given your deployments, if that makes sense. So, whereas your deployment was not what I would have done, Chad's is close enough to what I would have done. I assume, I would have assumed, Chad, that a Reaper's on the outside of your group because it's faster, because it's a medium base, so it moves further. So it's going to, you can quite easily, from this position, get around this first rock and come down that outside channel, or go all the way around the outside of the board if you need to, relatively quickly. And then you've still got a bunch of weird and wonderful stuff you can do from that just off center position, where you're not
Yep.
going to have to commit too early with your ships.
You are in the correct line of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not going to bother bringing the timer up because we're doing a fixed
Oh yeah,
number of
no, we're
rounds.
just doing this
So,
for fun. All right, so my fully telegraphed. I told everyone what I was going to do. Move. Oh, I hit a
oh no,
rock.
who knew? It's almost like if you set up on the baseline and do a 2 hard turn left and someone 2-2'd that rock, you were going to land on that head.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Did you notice
put that rock there?
I didn't mention it on purpose because you wouldn't have done it then.
Taking a shield for it too.
Yeah. Under stress.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
So one thing to note, if you're going to do that kind of opening, you have to deploy with your rear edge on the table edge to give you enough space that if they 2-2 a rock, you don't land on it turn 1.
There we go. So there, that got him out of the way. Let's go ahead and do the new squadron. My intention was to bump.
Yeah.
Wait, who did what? There we go. Wait, what just happened here?
Nothing. What do you mean? You revealed and then you did the collision and moved him back. I can take the Ranger off for you though.
Oh, okay.
I threw a 1 straight and a 1 bank on there for whenever I have to do my advanced ailerons.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he did that before I actually hit the bump back. Is it? Oh yeah, no, I guess it is good. Okay.
So you can right click and then force a move, Chad. So if you right click and scroll to template move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I take it it's my turn then?
Yeah.
Correct.
I've got 0 actions so far, just to rub it in.
It's turn 1. So what? They were taking losing the shield is the only thing that I was kind of unhappy about. But
Yeah. That's a good point.
So,
I should keep up to date on that.
If I do template move, I can do my advanced aileron out of that, right?
Yeah, correct.
All right. So we will go ahead and do a 1 forward down here. And he didn't move.
Which one?
Vermeil.
did you click the ship?
Yeah. I'm gonna try.
There you go.
There he goes. Okay. And then reveal that dial. Oh shit.
So if you do
Control R.
it is I can't remember. It's Control R should. Oh no, it's Control S, I think. I'm not allowed to do that. So if you Control R it again, and I believe Control S is the one that executes the move. Yeah, Control S will force a ship. So you've got to hide it again, and then it should do it. If you reveal it with Control S instead of Control R, theoretically it performs a move for you.
I have to click the ship or the dial.
It should do it on the dial, but I don't know. Maybe it's just being weird. Control S. So I'm not allowed to do it.
Yeah, you have to click the dial.
I'll just do a template moves for you, Chad. It's fine. Just so.
Yeah.
So you did a 3 straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Well, this is the first time we've done a 3-player game, and initially I joined as player 1, and then left player 1 with gave it to Chad. So I don't know if that's messed it up as well. So I wouldn't because it's what it won't let me do your dials, but it's letting me move your ships. So I'll
That's
just be on top of moving your ships for you.
Okay.
I'll be your lackey.
So you are also. Come on.
Who's
I
next?
thought it did this. Uh, and I was going to go to Pure Sabak next.
Pure
Do a
Sabak.
one forward. Yeah.
One straight aileron. And then a
Then
two
he's going to
bank.
do a two bank.
Two bank left. Well, dancing around these obstacles already, getting in close.
And then Countdown was going to go one forward.
And a three straight. Move is talking for you.
They're both just focusing.
Yeah.
Ooh, bank.
Yeah, starting casting the net early.
That would be the idea.
So adds reinforce the rear at the front.
I put it in the front. So is that rear?
So,
That's rear.
There. Front.
There you go.
No,
That's rear. That's front. That's
Yeah.
what I thought. I had it right the first
It's
time.
a tiny little circle on my screen.
It's fine. I'm just messing with you. Don't. Yeah. That's why I put the token at the front or the back, because. Okay, so that's round one of movement. Right. So we've got a little bit of a spread coming from the aces, and then a defensive clump from Edgeworth. So next turn should be interesting because I'm assuming there's going to be some target locks and aggressive movement would be my guess.
That's probably a fair assessment.
Like the issue that it has is obviously the hard two stresses the shuttle. So there's a limited number of moves you can do. Whereas the new squadron pilot's in a really good position with the SWAM and then getting a lot off the advanced SWAM and still being able to fire ordnance. So that could be scary for someone. And Shuranu's just going to do Shuranu things. I'd expect an aggressive move forward, get a target lock and try and fire off a proton. Um,
Oh, no, I'm happy with that. I am set.
yeah. So ace players always take longer. We've had this conversation in a different dynamic. Always the ace players, never the swarm players.
Well, all three of my ships have pre-moves. I also have to consider.
I'm just fucking with you, Chad. It should take you longer in this instance. It's a throwback to our episode about who wastes more time.
No. All right, I'm good.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay, let's see this one bank right from the lander.
One bank right. I challenge that, sir.
Why would you do a one straight?
You'll see. I have plans.
Hmm.
He's going to coordinate and give the focus to the new squadron.
Okay. Gonna dump that on Chad's. You can have an extra stress token, Chad. Don't worry about it.
I thought he'd make that.
Oh, look at that.
Good job you gave him a token, innit?
It is. But
Back
I
him
also
up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, hang on. I gotta back that
Control
up.
C.
So I can go Control S. Hang on, click on the token. There we go. Control S. C. There we go. Thank you.
I'll just keep
It's-
cleaning up the table. It's fine. I've got nothing better to be doing.
He makes good points.
Yeah.
It's not the worst bump in the world, but it's not ideal.
It's not ideal, no, because what I was going to do is I was going to slam with another, maybe either two straight, and be able to put that target locks down on there. So I was going to be target locked and focused, stressed, and hopefully be able to get off a missile.
All right, so that would have put. I'm going to use stress token in a dominating position in the center of the board, right here.
Yep.
So target lock in that instance probably goes on countdown, which isn't the ship you want to be shooting at, because it's countdown.
hmm
So I don't like I said, I don't think it's the worst position because if you target lock Vermeil, he just skips right past you. There's no way you can shoot Vermeil from that position.
All right, Chad. All
This is
you.
where Chad proves me wrong and just turns straight into where he would have been, and Vermeil would have got blown up.
No.
That's the
So-
reason. That's the reason why I slow rolled the Omicron. By the way.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and do Vermeil first. He's going to do a 1 bank to his left. And then
Way forward. It would have worked.
This is where we get to see if Chad's Vassal Eye is terrible.
it is.
That's the problem with playing on computers.
Yeah.
It would have worked because I would have put me right about here. I'd be sitting there at turn 1 with advanced proton torpedoes, target locked.
The
and
difference
focused.
is, Chad, it wouldn't have worked because Chad just does a straight aileron and then ends right down in the bottom.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You literally, sorry, Chad. Yeah, so you weren't catching Vermeil because that's why it's an A. I say it's an A Swiss because it's got the get out of jail freeze.
Okay. So next up, we'll go to countdown.
Yeah.
He's going to go 1 forward.
Yep.
And then he's going to do one of those.
It's a 3 by.
Yeah, so I definitely do not have.
You do not have vassal eyes.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I never like playing on here. I'm going to be honest with you.
No, I know.
And then Kirsabak is going to do a 1 bank to the right.
Yeah. And this is where I said that it might not work out too badly for Ed because this is where he would have just got wrecked by everything at range 1.
And then he was going to get 1 and take a focus.
Yeah. So a new squadron would have been outmaneuvered by Pure Sabak at range 1. So.
Woo!
Oh, that's an aggressive move from a Decimator.
And we are going to go for that target lock. Advanced proton torpedoes.
You can fire those out your front arc?
Yeah.
You can only fire them at your front arc.
Okay. Well, I was just looking. I saw your other arcs are facing left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's his primary weapon. That's the 3 attack dice that are coming out the port and starboard sides.
So
Okay.
I will point out, just because the action's been taken now, that the Decimator does have a coordinate.
Yeah, but I can't. is it a rotate into a coordinate?
No, but your pure Sabak is in your side arc as well. So your action could have been to coordinate the target lock what you wanted on the new squadron pilot.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
You're right. I could have totally done that. That's okay. Chad's going to completely avoid all 4 of these attack dice. Anyway, so 4 attack dice. I have to spend a charge, so it's down to 1.
I believe it's not the time for you to attack yet because there's another trigger. Vader would activate first, so Chad has the option to Vader from Mage of Emil.
Yes, I do. A ship in your firing arc at range 0 to 2. And look at that. That just clips the shuttle.
See, I do have my Battle Eye in at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, yes, Vader will go ahead and you may suffer 1 damage unless you choose to remove 1 green token. Oh, you don't have a green token to remove.
Oh, darn.
So, Omicron Group Pilot takes the 2nd shield.
Yep.
The reason why Chad's free to do that is because the target lock went on to pure Sabak, so he doesn't need to hold the force for defense on the Reaper, because the worst shot that's coming in is an unmodified shot from the Omicron Group at range, but probably obstructed in arc. We'll see.
All right, so 4 attack dice from the proton torpedoes into pure Sabak. Click and go.
So 3 hits and a blank.
Do I
is he going to spend
the
the target lock?
I think he is. Ah, of course. So it's still 3 hits.
Yeah.
I get 2.
Remember, you change one of them to a crit.
Oh, yes. Set to crit. Thank you.
Yep.
See?
2 evades.
That's why I needed to do it, because I knew that was going to
goes onto a shield that Pure Sabak took for just such an instance as this.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong ship. Almost changed the shield on the wrong ship there. Where is...
I can do it. I've got you.
That's why I had to use the target
I
lock.
haven't played Vassal forever.
Yeah, you still rolled double evades. 2 dice, double evades.
Wow.
Okay. So then the 4s go next.
Which would be all of them.
Where are...
Oh, yeah.
Firing arcs.
Control F.
Yeah.
Control
So
F.
click on the ship and then Control F. But if you tell me which one you want to do, I can check them for you.
Alrighty, let's go ahead, do the range 2 from Vermeil there. And I would say an unobstructed closest spot to closest spot or not?
Vassal's got a tool to actually tell you.
So you go Control Shift F, I believe it was. Range 2, unobstructed.
Okay. So, when you perform an attack, defenders not have, I get to change a blank or focus result to a hit result.
Yay!
And I do believe I am in your firing arc.
You are.
Yeah.
So that is going to be the only bonus I'm going to get there for him. And it's a range 2, so I only need 3 dice. Huh. Don't get to use Vermeil's ability.
Okay.
So, 2 hits and a crit, Ed.
I think I am going to go ahead and help that.
Yeah. So that reason you palp that is to he's got 2 shields remaining. There's a crit showing, so that will ensure that there's no crit shenanigans on Trishul this round from this attack.
From this attack.
From the back.
So you should be down to 0 shields.
Yep, I'm
Correct.
working on that right now.
All right. All right. Countdown is going to double check this here real quick. Does
So optimized prototype won't do anything at the moment because Vermeil doesn't have him target locked.
okay.
So Vermeil being stressed is a bit of a downer, but
Yeah.
that you can do.
So I will just go ahead and take my 3 shots.
So now you can go Control F for him and go, oh, look at that, countdown's out of arc.
And I am, yes. So then that means take defender's arc. You roll 1 fewer dice. Okay.
So
So my 3.
3 against 1.
Yeah, so I only get 1 hit, unfortunately.
That's okay.
So you
So-
take 1 hit.
Yep. Putting that on. Boom.
And then definitely the same thing
Then-
again. Outmaneuver is going to activate on Pure Sabak. And this is where the fun starts.
Yep, because I'm going to get 4 dice here.
4 dice, 5th brother.
Yeah.
So Chad wants to see a focus result. Yeah. Because
So
then
I
you can
did get a
spend.
focus.
So he spends 5th
I can
brother.
spend 5th brother.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that makes it a crit instead of a hit. Which-
So it's just a hit and a crit.
Which guarantees a crit going through because of
Yep.
outmaneuver.
Haven't rolled an evade yet. There's a hit. There's a crit. Wounded pilot.
Don't bump.
Got it.
I think I can show a crits.
Is that everything? That is everything.
Yeah.
Vermeil's got how many evade dice base?
1.
And Pure Box 2 base, correct?
Correct. And I still have my focus.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So it's 3 or 3, basically. One's tokened, one isn't. So I'll take the non-tokened one, please.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Just one. 7 evades.
And that was
Vermeil.
3 dice,
Yep.
you said?
2. Yeah. See. Yeah.
Oh, look, I rolled a blank also.
Just one.
You rolled 1 blank, I rolled 1 blank.
All right. Do we want to do one more round of movement? To see how
Yeah,
this
got
goes?
one more round.
Okay.
So you get to see Chad be really sad about how stressed Vermeil gets in a minute, though, because there's only one aileron move that should mean that he doesn't take a second stress next turn, as in a third stress in addition to one he's already got.
I thought can he take aileron moves when he's stressed?
Oh no, so it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't aileron, but there's like very little he can do to get off the debris cloud.
Oh, gotcha.
I was thinking about Duchess, where she gets to flap anyway because she's amazing. She's my favorite.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So both people have had their rock strategy come into play. See, Chad wanted the other player to land on rocks, and they did. And Ed wanted the aces to be stressed, and they are. So
And they are. They both worked out the board.
winning all around.
Yeah, but
Obviously, the biggest
Ed's was more because I can't play on the computer.
yeah the biggest thing that Ed misses out on a really good shot from a new squadron pilot if it didn't just get wrecked from that
Yeah. So it
that
was a
many attacks. Yeah,
happy accident.
yeah. Then like Shunu's in a decent position at the moment. Probably not a turn for bombs because you want to wait till next round.
Correct.
But seismics could come in handy given the size of the rocks. But the Omicron group is probably needing to leverage its coordinate pretty well this round. So Omicron group's probably not going to die because if Chad commits too many guns to it, he's just sitting in front of everything else. So we'll see. I'd expect the Omicron group to do like a one. I feel like a two forwards might take it out of coordinate range, so it depends how defensive Ed wants to be. Like it could do run pretty hard. What's dial like? Well, yeah, so you could do a 3 straight if he just wants to get out of dodge, and then like reinforce the rear.
But then that puts him out of coordinate range.
Well, you'd be taking the reinforce action to stop him from dying, and just keeping Palpatine on the board effectively. And you obviously get to leverage a rear arc, which we all know and love.
I'm so happy they added that to the Space Cow. So happy.
Yeah, the new squadron pilot is tricky to deal with at the moment because he's not in a good position to leverage the slam and everything. So probably do a slow roll this round, try and take a decent shot. I suppose if you're going to do that, you'd have to go slow with the Lambda as well. So Lambda probably does a 1 straight, a new squadron does a 1 bank, and then Shuranu maybe turns into a position pure Sabak is. But so the thing I would have done differently from Ed's move is I probably would have done a 1 straight instead of the hard turn in the hope of being able to creep towards this middle rock. So you don't want to go too fast. You don't want to clip it with your corner. You want to get into a position where you can use your template move to jump over it. But from the position it's currently in, it would have been. I'm probably going to say that Shunu's probably doing either a long. It's got to be a hard turn. It's got to be like a 3. That rock's terrible. Yeah, maybe Shunu does a 1 bank right as well, but Shunu's not clearing. I'm pretty sure something of Chad's is going to block Shunu's move.
Yeah, I hate not being able to see this correctly.
Are you set?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be able to see if this is working or not for me.
So thankfully, as Kris is talking, that he basically picks every one of my maneuvers exactly as I wanted it, except I had flipped the dials in my head. So when he said it, I looked at my dials and went, "Oh crap, I have them backwards."
Yeah.
So I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, oh crap, I need to change that real quick.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Yeah,
go.
coordinate with focus,
Yep.
one bank there, and then take the target lock probably on Vermeil
Yeah.
because, well,
Yeah, because he's got nowhere else
the
really to
only thing
go.
Vermeil can do is try to slam into the new squadron pilot, but if he does, he still gets faded and loses focus. So,
Is it my turn?
yeah.
It is.
All right. Now the Reaper does not get to failure on.
No flappy
So he's gonna
wings.
so he's gonna do a 1 forward,
Yeah.
which will clear and then re-give him stress.
Yeah, but it does get him off the next turn, which is the important point.
Oh, he didn't hurt himself.
Of course not. Why would he?
All right. So countdown is going to do a 1 bank to the left, please.
Yeah, 10 point moves, 1 bank left.
Okay, and then I pulled one of those.
A hard right, okay. This is what I said, Ed. If you wanted to space gate it, I did a bank then, didn't I? So,
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let me undo that. 10 point move, right turn. Okay. So, see. Yeah.
All right.
Going slow for a coordinate pretty much guarantees that the carry dies this round if Chad decided to go for it. So it's that game of chicken of how much they're going to commit.
Yeah, but I might be able to get an advanced proton off.
So
No,
on
I
Vermeil.
agree. I agree. And then pure.
here's Sabak. This is one I'm really starting to question now. So he's doing a 1 bank to the left.
into rear armor Cherno.
Yeah.
He's not going to clear it. God damn it.
Yeah, the new squadron will block, probably. Oh, this. Oh, interesting. That is the 2 swoop left.
Yeah. Like I said, I do not have the same eyes as I do as on playing on a normal table. Oh, that was the other way, Kris.
Yeah, I'm just being a moron, sorry. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Damn it.
It's fine, because it means Shunu's not moving.
That's it.
One
That
bank
depends
with
on where he's
2
going.
bank with 2. Okay.
At range 1 on my primary weapon. I thought, and then I'm set up to drop the seismic charge right there on the next turn. I thought I did okay there.
I don't know that I would seismic next turn from this position.
You're going to hit your own ship.
And
It's easy enough for Chad to get out of it because, right, Chad's going to be doing a 2, probably a bank, and then he has a barrel roll as well. So he probably clears the range 1 of that rock.
all right, so question for the forum. My thought process here would be that I would target lock for the range 1 shot. However,
so you reinforce for Chunu's ability.
right,
In
exactly.
fact, no, you don't. You don't. No, sorry, I'm being an idiot from this position. Because you don't need the crit because it's going to be firing first. So yeah, you probably target lock because you've got Palpatine.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just being a moron.
Okay. That's okay. Do I have a Vader that has to go off first?
Yeah.
Yeah. On the shuttle.
So the options you have now, Chad, is obviously you could try and strip the focus from the new squadron as well.
Wait, the shuttle's only got 5 hull?
Yeah, So
Yep.
if
That's
you
why it's
think that a naked countdown shot, range 1 outmaneuver, so it'll be your naked dice against nothing, and Vermeil's naked dice plus Vermeil mod can kill it without Vader. It's worth trying to strip the token to try and lessen the attack back at Vermeil.
How many
not
holes does Shuttle have?
6 hull, 2 shields. Or 4 shields, I'm sorry.
Okay,
know-
but I
I'm
did
not-
a hit and a crit to you.
Yeah, it's done. It's got 4 hull left, not 5.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
that's what I
I
was.
changed that.
No,
It still says 5 on the
I've got
screen.
it on the overlay. Don't worry
There we
about
go.
it.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like looking at that and I'm like, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right there.
I thought I clicked that. I apologize. And it's not nothing. I do have PAL.
But you don't have any dice, though.
All
Oh,
right,
that's true.
I will
Yeah.
do Vader at the smaller ship.
Yep. So Vader goes on a new squadron. So you either take a damage or we should focus now.
I'll take the damage.
Oh, that greed. Greed is good.
Yep. If I'm trading a ship, I need to trade a ship.
Yep. Oh, I don't
That's
disagree, but the Omicron group should die to Vermeil and countdown range 1 shots. Again, with you having 0 dice, right? It should
Mhm.
die. There's a chance that it won't, but it should.
So it's 4 hull and how many shields?
2 shields on the new squadron.
Okay, he's down to 2 shields.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so rear shooter into Major Vermeil. 4 dice,
Yeah.
range 1.
4 dice target what pulp?
Don't you have to rotate your arc?
No,
It's got it on the sides.
I've had it on the side since the beginning of the game.
The shot from the first
Major
one.
Vermeil.
Yes.
I was thinking you were trying to hit Sabak again. Never mind.
No.
No, you're shooting. Okay.
Reroll and then pulp. So if you've only got pulp, the greedy move is that if you're going to spend a lock, you re-roll the focus and the blank.
Why?
Because you can only modify 1 focus anyway. Rolling 2 dice gives you a chance to get a hit and a
fair
focus.
Fair point.
Like that.
And then I will pop that.
Yeah. So, because if you only re-roll 1, you can never get to 4 hits. But sorry, that's incorrect statement. You can obviously because you could roll a hit and still have the focus. But rolling both of them gives you a greater probability of getting more damage.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Force tokens can only go to hits, not crits, correct?
Correct. Unless you're fifth brother.
Right, exactly. So we will flip the Forcey token. And you can have 4 hits, good sir.
Okay.
And I spent that as well.
So I need to lose 3 shields and 1 hull.
Yeah, I've got you. It's done on the overlay, but I'll do it on here just for completion's sake. I should have actually looked at what the shortcut was. I think I know this one. Is it Control Alt H? And
Control Alt H
S?
and Control Alt S for.
Okay, so Vermeil took some damage, but still in the game. Then no shot for Sabak. Countdown, range 1, outmaneuver.
Shuttle. Yep, and he's got that optimized prototype.
So still no target lock, so
Nah.
yeah.
It'll be a miracle if it survives. It did what it needed to do at this juncture.
Now, optimized prototype is you choose one the defender okay. You may spend a hit, crit, or focus result. If you do choose one, the defender loses 1 shield, or the defender flips 1 of its face-down damage.
Remember,
marks.
you have to have a target lock on it from a ship that has Krennic on board.
Dang it, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh well, so it's just 2 hits and a crit.
Yeah, so against 0 dice, so it is literally just 2 hits and a crit.
Yep.
And I'm at 0 dice again. Why?
Because
outmaneuver.
And now Vermeil can't miss because
Well,
the shuttle
that
doesn't have a
depends on what the
token.
crit is.
No,
Direct hit.
it doesn't. Well, so Vermeil doesn't have to, but Vermeil couldn't miss because
Right.
the ability would kick in, which would let you change a blank to a hit. Seeing if he
Yeah.
blanked out, Vermeil would have done the less damage.
But since he direct hit, he kills it anyway.
Yeah.
I told you if I'm trading a ship, I'm trading a ship.
I don't disagree.
So he is going to range 1 into that dude up there. The
New
crap.
squadron.
Yeah. Alright, so I do not get outmaneuver for that. You do have a focus token. Yay. Alright. So range 1, 4 dice. Ugh,
All focus and a blank.
that's horrible. So, yeah.
And Vader spent Force to do the ability, which did a damage already.
Yep.
Advanced proton torpedoes.
Yep. 5v1.
5v1.
Could live the dream.
And of
Not
course,
Ed.
I will target lock to reroll the blanks.
Yep.
There's one. There's the other. It's
Spend
5
to
hits.
focus. Vermeil needs an evade naturally.
Yes.
So Vermeil goes down as well. And then we get to look at the game state. So we've got a full health Shuranu against a no shield upgrade Pure Sabak, but Pure Sabak's is basically behind them now. So at some point, Shuranu has to rotate the arc.
But he's also going to be eating a seismic charge next turn.
It's not. I guarantee.
Oh no, he's not because he's going to be gone. Yeah.
So I will place a bomb spawner, and then we place a seismic. Drop seismic, and then what is the range one again? Toggle range 1, Control L. So the only one you can pick is this one. So we'll put toggle range 1 of that one. So yeah, like if Chad's going to be doing either a 1 bank to a right, or a 2 straight, or a 2 bank. You know, he with barrel roll, he's not within the bubble of that rock.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It was worth a shot. Could have been fun.
So that's what I'm saying. I would have held the bomb. I wouldn't have actually dropped it this round.
Well, if it
this coming round.
Right. And so arguably, like, every ship he's got ailerons, so like they get to do the
It's
maneuvering.
really hard to catch them. You've got to you want him to be chasing you because then it's more predictable. So like, later rounds when he's running after Shuranu, you probably could get some damage onto one of them with it. Because like you're going to be coming around these asteroids. So let's say you do the hard 2 maybe this round to a right. Then he's going to have to take a couple of turns to turn around. At that point, you've got 3 asteroids which he's got to chase into. So you need to do it where you're going to have an option of which rocks you're going to hit with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, the problem you'd run into to actually finish out this game, because obviously Ed would be ahead on points now, but the problem he'd have is actually getting enough shots on countdown to make it stick before Sabak's in position. So
agreed.
And you probably need to spend a turn reloading those advanced protons.
Yeah, but I could spend that next turn because it's going to be a bit of a maneuvering position anyway.
The other interaction that's interesting between these 2 lists is that ion torpedoes do nothing to countdown.
Yeah.
Because countdown cancels them and takes a hit, so there's no ion effect. I believe that's the right wording. Let me double down here. When you defend after a neutralized result step, if you are not stressed, you may suffer. Cancel all dice. Yeah. So would defend. Yeah. So you cancel because Chad's got initiative. So his ability goes into a queue first.
But again,
Cancels.
I didn't build this list to play
No,
against
I
Chad's
know.
list. I
I
didn't
know.
even know what Chad's list is going to be. But that is, you're right. That it's an interaction. So
Yeah.
I do hope everyone found that enjoyable. I do have that work thing in the morning, and I actually physically have to go into the office tomorrow. So I've got to call it a day for myself. So
So my
See?
plan's going from here,
Yeah.
where I was going to get Sabak turned around, and then Countdown was going to do a flip around maneuver, and we were going to focus on that new squadron pilot and eliminate him as quickly as possible, while Chirno goes out and tries to do whatever he's doing.
Yeah. So like I said,
That was what I was looking at coming up for my next turn or two, at least.
yeah, so arguably the new squadron pilot's done what it was going to do effectively in this game. I feel I don't know that it ever gets another shot. It's going to play basically as a bullet monkey until Chirno can get in position. Now,
So
the
remember,
upside for
you have reload. So basically, you swam away and advance swam into a reload.
right, legitimately. So that was the next thing. So
Yeah.
I'm going to try to swing Chirno around to get shots in. I'm going to try to slam around to be able to get it back into position where I need it and be able to try to do some reloads and try to get off another shot with either the advanced protons. I still have cluster missiles that are still floating on that thing. I still have homing missiles that are sitting on that thing. I've got protons on that thing. I've got missiles and bombs to spend, pending on what range are in.
So the fun thing is with the maneuverability of my ships, and if this was an actual tabletop game, I could avoid your front and rear arcs all day if I wanted.
From Cherno?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I have the guns on the side.
Right, but your guns on the side's not shooting like five shots like your missiles. They're not, doing the fun bomb things. I would basically fly around the sides of you and just take all that fun stuff away from you.
Yeah, you would be. It would be down to straight dice, but that would be the okay. So I'm gonna keep my reinforce in the back. I'm not saying that you're not wrong. You're legitimately your two ships versus my two ships.
Yeah,
you probably win this game. I got lucky in blowing that up.
I mean, you got Sabak throwing 4 red dice as of right now, and Countdown doing 3. If I got into range 1, then that's an extra 2 each, and it would only take 3 rounds maybe of shooting.
Yep. No, I'm not disagreeing. It would be a fun game. Yeah. I can tell you that.
It'd be interesting.
It'd be interesting.
But yeah, I just thought I just wanted to give my thoughts and my perspective of how I was like, if this was a real game, what I would be looking at. I would try and quickly finish off the new squadron pilot, and then, like I said, with the maneuverability of my ships, I would try and just outmaneuver your missiles and bombs by staying on your sides.
Yeah, the only hope that I would have would be that I could either take down one of those 2 ships.
Yeah.
Before you kill the new squadron.
Yeah. I mean, unless you got some really cool maneuver in your butt right there. Like I said, my next maneuver with Countdown was going to be a basically K turn on you.
So the difference,
and then Sabak was going to turn and barrel roll and fun thing or boost something like that,
So the only thing you need to watch out for, really, realistically, Chad, is that what Ed needs to do is start pulling range with Shuranu, so he can roll. He needs 1 free turn to rotate his arc to a rear, which is this turn. So because you're going to break off and won't be getting shots at him anyway. So he rotates a rear this turn, and then you've got to try and close in, and he's going to have a rear reinforced 100% of the time now, which plays into Shunu's ability for soft mods as well. It's not great, but it's going to take a while to churn through him, whereas he could get lucky. But yeah, the game's definitely in your favour given this board state. I would be happy to play this out with the 2 strikers.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and there you go. I am 100% correct in Ed's supposition that this was going to be a trilogy. So what I'll probably do is see if I can sort out us doing an in focus to try and blast through a couple of extra of these, so we don't do too many more. But we might do another one of these for an actual show. But I'll try and do a couple of those where I can kind of like edit it all together, edit it all together a little more concisely, rather than our ramblings that we normally do for a show. But we'll see.
Oh, and something else we might want to consider, like this particular trilogy has been focused on turn zero. There's plenty other parts to the game that we can focus in on. So, like for example, if you were like, well, how do I deal with this list? Can you give me an idea of how to approach it? Like we can do all kinds of things if the listeners are that interested in doing so. Like there's some of the stuff I often refer to a lot of the same chess terms. Like we're in the middle of the mid game right now. There's still end game strategies that are absolutely effective. And as Kris was alluding to, like there are in-game strategies that I already have that I can put into place that could at least attempt to pull the game out for me. So there's a ton of things that we can cover. This was just literally, we're talking the first 3 turns of the game.
Yeah.
And getting yourself set up into a position to potentially win or lose that game.
It's more trying to show how the deployment ties into a rock placement and why you need to be considering it whilst also considering your opponent's placement and list. So, like I said, the difference I would have done is I would have deployed your shuttle in the center, which gets it. So that eliminates all of your bumps for a start.
Yeah.
And gets an aggressive positioning from a shuttle, because what you want to try and do is get it past, because Pulp's range is infinite. You only need the double modded coordinate from a shuttle for that opening shot, which are from the advanced proton or the protons from Shirinu. So after that initial engagement, the coordinate from a shuttle is less important than just keeping Palp on the board, and you can have time then to just chip away at the rear and try and get past. It does leave Shirinu slightly more isolated, but you can kind of edge him in a little bit, because obviously you had to take the full outside channel. Or you could have actually faced off to Joust Chad's list, because you've got more hit points. Because if you drop him on the left-hand flank facing off against a Reaper, that Reaper is definitely taking, because the shuttle is in the middle, so it banks in. Shirinu moves forward, reinforces the front, or like, you take your target lock and you can coordinate a reinforce from the shuttle. You know what I mean? You've got options there,
Right?
But you can set up a really good alpha on the Reaper, because it would be really difficult for him to get away. Like, that forces Chad into turn one. He's got to start thinking about running up his table edge instead of coming at you. Which, I don't know, Chad, is that what you would have gone for? Trying to pull range and reposition if he deploys to Joshua with his list?
If he would have chose to like joust at me, all 3 of my ships have like the S turns and other fun things like that. They got some K turns. So really, like, I could have just blown by him, flipped around real quick, and then just started attacking him from the rear if he would have chose the shuttle or the new squadron pilot to joust at me. Probably not so much Chirno because of the bombs and such. I wouldn't have, probably gone after him in the joust. But with my other ships, like I said, like I could have even flown up, and as we were jousting, like, before he even got past me, go ahead and do my S turns. I've done that before to him several times, where we'll be coming up in a joust, and it's like, okay, well, I'm moving this ship into an S turn and that ship into an S turn, and then he's realizing, oh crap, his only movements were going this way still, and now my ships are already turned around, ready to blast him as he comes flying by.
Yeah.
See, like, I'm one of those players where it's like every turn I just completely reassess the entire situation.
Yeah.
Like, I have a plan for my turn, But beyond that turn, like I reassess it every time. So like it's not like I'm gonna, oh, I've got this thing that's gonna play out 5 turns from now and it's gonna be so cool. And
Yeah.
I just keep reassessing though every turn. So like it's not like you can be like, oh, I know he's gonna go here to do this, then do that, then do that. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
close this one
so
out.
I
Oh, go
do
ahead.
want to. Obviously, Michael did send in his lists and some game results, so I wanted to cover that as our closing. So we don't have
Sure.
to stay on it for too long. But so Michael's list that he was talking about that he ran in his 2 games he got to play was AP5 with Leia. So it's a Sheathopede shuttle which can coordinate to stress people and still make them do actions with Leia. A Blue Squadron X-Wing, so the Initiative 2 X-Wing. Then Luke with Advanced Protons and S-Files, and Wedge with just S-Files. So 4 ship rebels, 2 3-dice attacks, and 1 2-dice but double arced with coordinate. So can get a reliable first turn, but I think it's a little bit too fragile for what I would like. Do you want any comments on the list before I give you his opponent's list?
No, I'm kind of curious to see what he played against.
Yeah, so he played against Scum and Villainy, and it was Bosk with Zam, Crew, and BT1 Gunner. So Zam's if you shoot me, I get a bonus attack, or do I get a bonus attack if you don't shoot me? A mini game. BT1 is if there's stress, you can turn hits to a hit to a crit. Then Han Solo in the Scum Falcon with 000, which links with BT1 for the the calculate token, or they take a stress. Lando's Falcon title. And then Torkil Mux with nothing and Paylob with nothing. So the 2 Screw You Hawks and 2 big ships.
Yep. I like that guy.
Yeah. So then he said, blah, blah, blah. And that's the wrong email because he forgot to send me the attachments first time. He's loving his trilogy so far. He's been trying to take on board what we've said. Managed to play a couple of games with Peter today, so another one of our patrons. And so he did send pictures, which again I said we'll try and go over at a later date. But I do have some feedback. I'm probably going to do an in-depth video. I'm going to try and recreate the deployments on Vassal from what I can see. But yeah, from those lists, even just looking at the list before you see deployment or anything, I would be scared playing that Rebel list into it. So I posted in the Discord a couple of list ideas, which I think would give them a better fighting chance. So the main takeaway I had is that running Leia in a 4-ship Rebel list with only 1, I don't think there's enough in the list to justify Leia. I don't think the Sheathopede's adding enough, or it's got enough to do. Like Luke's already going to be able to get double mods because he's got 2 Force, so he only has to take a target lock. So the Sheathopede's basically stuck coordinating either to the Blue Squadron or Wedge, which kind of limits its options. And like Wedge with nothing's pretty solid, but I would rather. I posted 2 lists, one which I think is just a better layer list, and that was, let me find it. It was a list I was going to deploy tonight if it would be my turn. It was, instead of a Sheathopede, I've gone with the other shuttle, which is the attack shuttle, with Zeb and Leia. So it's 1 point, sorry, it's the exact same number of points, it's 39 points, but you get a 3-dice attack out the front. Slightly more vulnerable, but it's more offensive based, and you keep Leia. And then I've dropped the named pilots, which has given me 3 Blue Squadron X-Wings and a Blue Squadron B-Wing with stabilized S-Foils and tractor beam.
So list after my own liking. I like that.
So it's 5 3-dice attacks in the list. The B-Wing if it's got a target lock on you, it can shoot its primary, then spend the lock to shoot the tractor beam, and then everyone else can shoot you after it's tractor beamed you. Theoretically, like it's 7 points that I could put Astromechs on the X-wings or something, but I thought I'd do something more fun just because
Yeah, that's way more
that's
fun.
the kind of show we have now. I'm
Yep.
not saying that this is better, but it also makes a B-wing the target because it's 47 points compared to 38 or 39 for Zeb. So like the B-wing costs more, but it's more reliable in its resistance. That's a Rebel beef list that I actually kind of like, just for fun. It's like you can obviously choose to shoot the tractor beam and not your primary if you want to reliably, especially against that scum list. You tractor beam the Falcon, just -1 off its agility, and then open up with everything else. Just
Right.
pick an agility one ship.
All
And
15 dice.
like Chad can attest how quickly agility 0 ships just die.
Yeah.
Yep. Then for that was assuming that Leia was the focus of the list that Mike made, that he wanted to use Leia and leverage for that. I think using it with 5 3 attack dice ships is obviously better than using it with 3, because you don't need to use it on the shift because it's got front and rear anyway. If Luke and Wedge was the focus of the list, I had Luke Skywalker with proton torpedoes and a hull upgrade, Wedge with proton torpedoes and a hull upgrade, and then the Kashyyyk Defender with Leia. So you still get to keep Leia in case you want to K-turn those aces, but this time her carrier is a lot more rugged. You've got the reinforce, you've got the 180-degree arc out of the front, so you can kind of slow roll, keep the Kashyyyk Defender in the game a lot easier than the Chief Speed. You've got 3 attack dice ships as you had with the other list. So and you've got hull upgrades on the X-wing, so they're less likely to just pop.
Yep.
So like whatever he tar kills, it should survive. You want him to tar kill Luke because you get your force back every time. So you have good defenses. So you either try and feed him a defender, the Kashyyyk Defender, or Luke, and kind of keep Wedge back a little bit. But yeah, that's again, it's not great, but it's got a better alpha strikes. It's got 2 protons rather than just 1 advanced proton.
Right.
So it can pump out more consistent damage, and you get to fly a Azatuk gunship, which is always fun.
Always.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, that's what I posted in the Discord for you, Mike. He has commented already. Thanks, man. I'll take a look and let you know where they get on. I think the top one definitely has some potential to be fun and cause problems. Let's see. The top one is the Rebel Beef list is a better list out of those 2.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
I agree 100%.
But I wouldn't be surprised if that was like winning some local events. Like I think there's enough in it to win you like a star kit easily. So there we go. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't want to keep it too long, but I did want to cover off that, and I'll speak to guys in the chat afterwards. But at a minimum, even if I've got to do it on my own, I'll try and do a breakdown of the deployments because I want to see if I can guess how the openings went for the 2 players for 2 games, given those lists and what he showed. So we'll see.
All right. So, Chad, always good talking to you, my friend.
Yeah, always great to be here. Thanks for everyone listening, watching, and all that fun stuff.
We sort of semi-played a game together today.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't count.
It
doesn't count.
Yeah, doesn't fully count.
You can't talk about it on the flight deck next week.
Oh, no, I won't.
No.
Kris, always good to talk to you, my friend.
It's good to be here, man.
Do you have any of the closing stuff you want to do?
I know you want to leave, so I can do that in post if I need to. It's fine.
All right, works for me. All right, so as always, guys, we do appreciate you tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this one, Mike. Yep, 3 episodes out of this, and there's probably more content coming out of this, so I do hope you enjoy it. Until next time, guys, as always, fly casual. Thank you once again for joining the Lack of Focus X-Wing podcast. Check out Dice Hate Productions for all the latest episodes, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again next episode.